All right, we're back. This is John.
Hey, it's Paul.
And it's Eric.
And I'm already getting fucking abused.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
So I started my new job, and I get up at like 4:30 in the morning, so already they're going, is it bedtime?
John's got to go night-night.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
8:30, getting close to your bedtime.
It is.
Noah puts you to bed now. Is that how it works?
Pretty much, yeah.
The cutoff is when Noah comes out.
Now I'm the little
He
spoon.
comes out to get you, yeah.
Fuck both of you. All right, cool. So, yeah, actually, on that note, getting ready for this episode, I didn't even find a Florida man. I just ran with our main theory. So fuck it.
All right.
You got it?
I do.
Cool. Hey, it's What If Geeks.
Hey, here we are. My Florida man story. Headline: Naked dancing Florida man arrested at Mamaroneck gas station. A Florida resident was arrested at a Sunoco station. An onlooker's video really fleshed out the details of this arrest. Village police swarmed a gas station recently and used a taser to stop a naked 36-year-old man who danced in the parking lot before he tried to drive away, as onlookers captured video of the strange scene.
Nice.
This is in Hobe Sound, which I think is Brevard County over on the coast.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He appeared to be on drugs, as most Florida man stories are, involving drugs or alcohol. Guy decides this is the place I should dance naked, is my local gas station. And and as most onlookers do now in this era that we're in, everybody took cell phone video of it before the guy got tased.
There are worse places to do it.
Yeah.
You know the one dude at the gas station's like, Tony, you still owe me $20.
That's right.
You going?
All right, yeah, I got one.
Holy shit. I'm unprepared.
Sorry, you failed. It's probably because you had to go to bed so early.
Fuck off.
So, Florida man jumps massive canal, clears landing, but breaks his back. And the subtitle of this thing says he almost had it. So, this driver in Lehigh Acres, I don't know where that is, has been charged with hit and run, and in addition to 2 DUIs, after channeling Luke and Bo Duke and jumping and clearing his car over a canal. The car he was driving, though, is not... It's a bit less cool than the generally Dodge Charger. A lot less cool. Actually, it's a Nissan Versa.
Oh, I was going to guess Toyota Corolla.
They are not meant for massive jumps.
So it says he performed the stunt on 21st Street Southwest, causing significant damage to the area, hitting a parked truck, and then fleeing on foot. I'm not sure how he fled on foot if he broke his back. That's pretty impressive. It was a 20-foot jump. That is actually really impressive with no ramp. I don't even know how that's possible. That's pretty cool.
It's kind of ridiculous.
He almost had it.
Only Florida man.
You were this close.
That's right. You almost had it.
All right, so since I don't have one, what I will say is as Eric walked in, what he usually does lately is he'll bring some food with him, because secret that you guys don't know is Eric is a really good cook. So you made not so gumbo. Is that
not
what
quite gumbo.
Not quite gumbo. Yeah. And it's a keto recipe, and holy cow, this thing kicked ass.
Yeah.
So I want to share that.
Well,
Eric kicks ass in the kitchen.
Thanks, John.
Yeah.
You're welcome. That's the only room I can attest to. Sorry. So anyway, I guess we can go into what are you into, because last week we talked about my family and I were going to go see a couple of movies, one of which was Men in Black International, and then the other was Toy Story 4, which actually leads into our main topic. But the Men in Black International, have either of you guys gone to see it?
No.
Have not.
Okay. All I will say, so I don't ruin it for anybody, is if you've enjoyed the other ones, go see it. It's a really good sequel / reboot, whatever, kind of soft reboot. You can see where they're going to pick it up and go. But it's good. We enjoyed it. So they didn't kind of some of these sequels kind of just drop the ball when they try to do the reboot. They didn't do that. They did a good job.
They acknowledge that the other universe exists.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact, they even do that in the trailer, where Tessa Thompson's character finds them in New York. She finds the Men in Black headquarters in New York, and Agent O, I think it is, the one from the last one or two, the female lead that took over from Zed.
Yeah.
She is in that, in the same role. So she shows up and, okay, boom. All right, now you're here in New York. Yes, you found it. You can be maybe an agent. We'll see. But they send her to Britain, UK, that version. And she works with Chris Hemsworth. And it was really good. Yeah. It was good. We enjoyed it. We liked it. So, all right. Before we get into the other one, how about you guys? You got anything? What are you into?
So I finished the Chernobyl miniseries. It's good. I'd recommend watching it if you haven't. It's short. It's five episodes. It's really not bad.
Yeah.
And despite the guys having British accents and not Russian, it still works for me. I thought it was good. It was a good sort of primer for what people think the Soviet Union did to like mask things in society and stuff. Hide the truth. It's pretty cool. I think. Cool. I also started Dark. Have you guys heard of that? It's a German sort of horror. I don't know. No, sorry. Maybe horror is not the right thing. Sci-fi. Something otherworldly going on, kind of time travel. There's all kinds of weird stuff in it. It's dubbed over, so the whole thing's in German, but it was dubbed over in English. The dubs are not bad. I mean, a couple of them are whatever, but I think it's pretty cool. It's got a really cool story.
Okay.
So I've only gotten maybe a couple episodes from the end of the first season. There's 2 seasons on Netflix now, but pretty neat. Give it a shot.
Cool. Cool. I just kept going on. My wife and I are still watching Designated Survivor. I caught up. I watched the 2014 Godzilla, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't know that Coleman's ready to watch the new one, but I am at some point when it comes out on whatever streaming platform it's coming to next.
Nice.
And that's about it.
All right, cool. So then we also went this weekend. My oldest son came home, and at some point I will have to post a picture on our Facebook or Instagram, whatever. He brought me my Father's Day gifts, and one is an arc reactor that magnetizes to your shirt, and the other I showed these guys. Eric brought me the batteries because I ran out of AA batteries, but he bought me an Infinity Gauntlet that is like Thanos sized.
Yeah.
This thing is ridiculous.
It's Titan sized. It's pretty
sure
ludicrous. The wrist opening is like, I don't even know what that's like. That's like a foot and a half around. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's why the women fear me. Yeah, no, this thing is epic, and it lights up, makes noise, all the kind of shit, and it's got like little, it's the pull strings or whatever you want to call them on the inside, so each finger moves individually along with yours. It's kind of cool.
And you can, and it's got a lock mechanism to it, so you can do, like it's got the kind of hell yeah, rock on, frozen in time now, and then I did the finger a minute ago, and John took a picture of that. So
yeah, but right before we recorded, we took the high road, and we did the rock on. But what I'm thinking is, I need to at some point this week, I'll do the arc reactor with the Infinity Gauntlet and the Darth Vader helmet that he bought me, and I'll take a picture and post it. So that way you have all of my geekiness all in one spot. But, so he came home, and we did a whole family thing where we went to go see Toy Story 4. And that kind of leads into our whole fan theory thing because of the Pixar theory. But just a brief, non-spoiler review of Toy Story 4. The first thing I'll say is when they announced it, I think we talked about it briefly a few times. I was like, I don't need it because Toy Story 3 was a perfect ending. And then they did a few of the shorts. Yeah. And I said, well, if you keep doing the shorts, it'll be fun. And then they stopped because they wanted to do this. I walked into it not needing it at all. But at the same time, I went in with an open mind like I normally do, and I liked it a lot. Where 3 was a perfect ending to the series, this is just a nice continuation. Like, okay, it's another story, and you kind of see where it's going with it. In fact, I think in a previous episode I might have already called something. So,
you think there'll be a 5?
Oh yeah, no, there'll be a 5. Yeah, but without spoiling anything, there's some stuff that happens in this where you can go, oh, okay, now I see where they can go with it for a 5 or a 6 or whatever.
Got it.
But there was some stuff in the promo material and whatever that we've discussed before that I said, I think this might happen. So if you guys are listening and you go back to a couple of episodes ago and we were talking about Toy Story 4, something I said in there does happen. So I actually called something for once in my life, as opposed to like Star Wars or anything else.
Right.
But yeah.
Who in your family cried?
I don't know, because I wasn't looking at them because I didn't want to. But no, I felt it, but did I really cry? No. The Toy Story 3, it wasn't that bad. Like at the smelting or whatever the hell you call that scene, right, when they were about to die, that hit harder than this movie all along.
All I've read about Toy Story 4 is it hits all the feels. So,
it does.
Yeah.
It does. Because it was even that interview with Tom Hanks where he said, like, the very end, whatever, the end recording they did, he had to turn away from everybody else because of what he was saying or whatever. Yeah. And when you watch the movie, you get it. You understand. Oh, okay. You know. But, yeah. So there's some deep stuff in this one. It's not as deep as 3 because that was like their end of the trilogy. But it's good. It's really good. I mean, I would suggest anybody go watch this thing. It's amazing. If you like the Toy Story movies at all, you go watch it. But, yeah, it's good. So, yeah. And there you go. I didn't spoil a damn thing. Right. For once in my life.
Good work, John.
I got it right, but I didn't spoil it. So, all right. So, on that note, one of the things we wanted to do because of the Toy Story 4 quote-unquote review, a fun topic we thought we would get into would be like some fan theories we heard that were kind of like really cool. And, of course, the major one is the Pixar theory, where all the Pixar movies are connected. So as I kind of like I didn't make too many notes, so I'm going to kind of ramble a little bit. So what you guys do know of the Pixar theory, kind of jump in and help me out. But basically, is and I don't know who first did it. I'll have to look it up maybe later, and we can jump on Facebook or somebody else that's listening can tell us who did the first Pixar theory. They basically tied, and this was a few years ago, they tied all the movies together and said they're in one universe. And then as other movies came, other people came in and said, okay, yeah, this still fits this theory. It's kind of getting out there now because it's kind of weird. But
yeah, there's some really strange connections made in there.
Because they're like trying nowadays between Coco and Inside Out, they're trying to like say, okay, John Negroni, thank you. John Negroni is the first one that did the Pixar theory.
Yep.
And his was really, really solid. And then you get into the Inside Out and Coco and whatever, where they try to say, okay, emotions are tied to, which, don't get me wrong, when you listen to their explanation, it sounds plausible. Like the whole thing is kind of based on emotion, but it's kind of like you're starting to stretch a little bit.
Well, there's a lot of stretches in it. So I think the theory starts with there's a whole chronology that somebody has invented for this, right? And some movies happen early and late, but I remember the Brave was up front. It was one of the first ones because
they tried to tie the Good Dinosaur into it. Yeah. But I'm going to skip that one because I didn't quite buy on how it kind of fed into it.
Well, it doesn't really. I think the dinosaurs came first. And
I think I heard another one that was better.
Then, I don't know.
His was Brave starts it, right? So you get like your intro to magic, but you meet like the witch who does all this magic and starts to she changes the queen into a bear, so you get that
the talking animals.
You get kind of the talking animals, talking whatever, and magic exists in this world. And then it rolls into
The Incredibles.
A few of the Incredibles, right, where you've got superheroes and this and that. Then machines are starting to take over, and that was the thing with Syndrome. Syndrome made the machines, and they were smart. They started to take over, right?
Yep.
And it kind of rolls into WALL-E and all this other shit. But the big key connector there in the whole thing was Brave was the witch. That when you get all the way to the end, and we can kind of fill in at the end, or fill in whenever you guys kind of figure it out, because it really went away from me. At the very end of the theory, you get to Monsters, Inc., which is set way in the future, right?
Yeah. Right.
And is like 24 some shit, whatever. And the monsters are siphoning fear to power the cities, and then they realize that, okay, it's actually the happiness that's a bigger emotion, which ties into the rest of that theory. So they siphon all this shit to power the city. But because Sully meets Boo, she starts looking for him. And she starts looking for him indoors.
Yep.
And then she finds a way to travel through time, because that's what... There you go. That's the actual theory, is the monsters are going back in time. Because when you see them go into kids' rooms, it looks like a 90s or an early 2000s kind of scene. You know, they show up and they scare them or they make them laugh or whatever. So they're actually time traveling to get this power for their city. She figures it out, and she starts to travel through doors, through time, travels all the way back in time to the era of Brave and Merida, and she's actually the witch.
Yep.
So it's this whole thing, and it's because there's a wood carving of Sully in her hut.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, because she's looking for Sully. So there's this whole revolving time loop there that she's involved in. But it goes into, like, from there, it goes from, like, Brave, where the animals can kind of, like, get sentient and whatever. So it goes into the magic bleeds into the toys in Toy Story. And they kind of start to gain awareness or whatever. Mm-hmm. I forget exactly how they described it in the theory.
They're able to harness the same energy that...
They harness the joy of the kids.
Yeah.
So it makes them...
And they're able to come alive.
They become alive, right. So
but then they get mad about being thrown away, and then...
Right.
And then they start like a rebellion against humans, right? This is...
Something like that, yeah. And then it kind of rolls into like a whole Cars thing, and then like...
And then
the humans have to leave Earth because they suck.
Well, the animals, remember the smart animals also rise up. That's what leads to the Earth being abandoned and Wall-E coming. That's also the precursor for the artificial intelligence invention in Incredibles in order to fight the smart animals or something. Yeah. I mean, this whole thing is wild and ridiculous, but people have taken these references that exist in the movie already, they're callbacks to previous movies, and then try to make like a huge theory out of it. Sorry, we've got guests. Hey,
Noah's here. Noah's here to put me to bed, apparently.
Yeah.
No, they said that nowadays you put me to bed because I go to work early. So yeah, it's not just your mother abusing me. What'd you get? You got a driving license? Oh, look at that. You went to Legoland? Yeah. Noah went to Legoland today. You have fun?
How was Legoland today?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah? You like it?
Are there cool rides?
Sunburnt. All right, cool. All right, I love you. I'll see you soon.
So there was some other connective tissue in there that they had, though, with that company that's used in a bunch
by
of
and large.
things. By and large,
yeah.
And then by and large becomes, in Wall-E, I think, the main corporation that owns everything on the ship or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah, so all the humans leave Earth. Wall-E goes to clean everything. Now, there are some other side fan theories that we can get into later with Wall-E about how much of an asshole he really is. But we can get into that later, maybe. I don't think I wrote that one down. But the fan theory on that one, when you go from Wall-E, he cleans up Earth and they start to come back, but before the Earthlings come back, because of all the radiation on Earth, it strengthens the bugs and everything.
Right, which is where you get a bug's life.
And you get into Bug's Life.
Yeah.
Because Wall-E plants a tree, and that grows into the tree that you see in Bug's Life. Yeah, so there's a whole thing in there, and I mean, I really fucked that up because I was listening to like 3 different Pixar theories earlier, and I didn't get his name either. So
no, you got the right idea.
The basics is there.
The remaining animals and all the bugs will eventually become the monsters. And
I missed like half of their movies, and but it grows into Monsters Inc., and then it cycles back to Boo and Brave and all that shit. So yeah. One of my favorite theories, that even though I butchered the hell out of it, is the Pixar theory. I think it's just amazing. And then the fact that people keep trying to add the other movies like Inside Out and Coco and yada, 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 whatever. Now they're getting into the, okay, like Coco, it's the memory of family members, and Inside Out, it's your emotions, which kind of does tie into the Monsters Inc. or whatever, but they're getting out there.
It was tighter with these movies, and now you're having to sort of try to shoehorn it in.
You have to shoehorn it in. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, there you go. So while it's fun, it's kind of getting to the point where like Pixar is like, can we just make movies, please?
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Or they're going to start making movies like, okay, now try to put this in there.
Oh, you know what? That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Batman's here.
Right.
What? Wait, what? It's not even the same company. All right. So on that note, with Pixar, we decided to talk about some of our favorite fan theories. I've got a couple pages worth of shit in here. There is one that I tried for the life of me to find the first video that I saw, and I can't. So if anybody, all four of you listening, or either one of you, find this, I got to go through all of my history in YouTube. I told you guys about it before, there's a video that I watched that tied all of these cartoons that we grew up with, or even our kids grew up with, like all these Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and whatever, tied like 150 cartoons together. But the video I found recently, like literally just like started naming them off, where the other one walked you through why they were connected, and that's the one I was looking for so I could write it down. Right. I couldn't find it again. So it's going to take me some more homework. I'm going to try to do some more of that this week and try to find it, and I'll post something somewhere connecting it. But if you guys happen to see it, let me know. That's one of the big ones for me. How about you guys?
So one of my favorites, which is I think pseudo confirmed, we were talking about earlier, but it was the Stan Lee in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And
yes, he's one of the Watchers.
Yeah, so he may be Watu or whatever his name is, but in any case, one of the Watchers. Or there are some theories that say he's just I don't know, advisor or a watcher for the Watchers, right?
Yeah, he's human, one of their
but he's just doing his thing, right? And so he has a cameo in every MCU movie, right? And then he has a cameo in I think all the Kevin Smith movies too.
Yeah. He's got him in Kevin
most
Smith.
Of them,
he's got him in the TV series too.
And even though those Kevin Smith movies,
he was a juror in the Hulk.
He's a juror in the Hulk. The trial.
That's
of the
where
Hulk.
it started.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Yeah.
And so even though those movies don't necessarily tie to the MCU, he makes references to Marvel Comics in his cameos, right?
Yeah. I mean, he was in DC's Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Yep.
He shows up and he literally says, I don't care if it's not a Marvel movie. I love my cameos and I want to be here and whatever. Because that's how he was. But yeah, and then referencing back to that, now give a little bit of a backstory for maybe the one out of the four of the people that listen don't know who the hell a Watu the Watcher is where kind of we get our name, What If Geeks. The comic story, What If, kind of gives you like a look at other realities and if Spider-Man has 8 arms or whatever, kind of random stuff. And they're even coming out with the TV animated series on their new streaming, Disney Plus, right? So What If is going to be something that you guys hear more of, just not just from us. But that's where kind of the Watcher started, I guess. And then I don't know if he started there or maybe he started with the Fantastic Four, but he became like the lead to that comic.
Well,
you talking about Watu?
Yeah, Watu.
That started with Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
It was number 13 or something. It was like 1963. It was really early.
Yeah. So basically, like his whole role is to watch things going on in the universe,
and they're not supposed to intercede except when Galactus comes to eat the Earth. He tips off the Fantastic Four on how to go get the thing.
Get the ultimate nullifier. Yeah. So he's this omnipotent, godlike being that's not just supposed to watch.
Right.
And then he becomes like the host of the What If comics and whatever. So he should be on our little page.
Right.
Jesus. How did we miss that? So that's why everyone thought that Stan Lee was at least a Watcher, because there's been more. But a Watu is the main one because you see him in the 616
He could be a Watu. He could be a Watcher. And I saw another one where he's just helping them. They're moving him around to observe or whatever.
Now, when they jumped into Guardians of the Galaxy 2,
Volume 2, yep.
When they're Rocket and Yondu are flying through space, they fly over Stan Lee in a spacesuit, sitting down talking to a bunch of Watchers.
Well, and he was talking about that time he was postal delivery guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was a reference
like
back
Iron Man.
to
Iron Man.
No, it was a reference to
Fantastic. No.
I don't know. The scene is he's delivering a burner phone from Captain America to Tony Stark.
It's in Civil War. Yeah.
Civil War. Yeah,
This is for Tony Stank. Yeah. Yeah. But he starts to talk about because he's in they go by him a couple of times in that movie, maybe toward the end where they do the end credits. But he starts to talk about a few things he does. So they make it seem like every one of those cameos that you saw him in is like him popping into different realities or
in different
times
scenarios,
or
right?
whatever.
Different times, right?
So it basically just explains why he's everywhere, which is epic. It's perfect. And when they did it in Guardians 2, 1, I laughed my ass off, and then 2, I was like, you know what? That's exactly what everybody wanted.
Yep.
Everyone thought he was a Uatu the Watcher. Even if he's not that specific Watcher, he's one of their informants. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
Because it makes perfect sense. You explain one of the not dumbest things in the whole universe, but you explain one of the things that doesn't make sense at all. You make it make perfect sense. So there he is. He's one of their informants or whatever it is, but he's with the Watchers.
And what will they do? What will they do now for Phase 4?
They've talked about switching over to Deadpool because he breaks the fourth wall.
Oh, Deadpool's the cameos?
Yeah. Which...
Well, so they have to do something.
If you do them in every one, it would be a pain in the ass. But now if you do all right, you can still do a Stan Lee cameo in everything. Either A, similar to what they're doing in Leia, upcoming in Rise of Skywalker, where it's other footage. You can do other footage of him, or you can just have a picture of him.
Yeah, just
or a something.
poster or a thing of him. Or,
something of him in the background. Hell, they did it in Ralph Breaks the Internet. Because my kids were just watching it the other day, and I realized he didn't say a word in that. He was there. They said, "Oh, hey," and he looked at him, and you could tell it was him perfectly.
Yep.
And that he was like a amiibo or whatever the hell he was. You know, he was an internet figure. Yep. So, yeah, you can do something with him. I would just keep it look for a picture or something of him. Now, if they want to do the Deadpool thing, I can kind of see that a little bit, but really, unless you're going to have him having maybe 10, 15 minutes here or there in a movie, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Because he breaks that fourth wall, so you have to have that at least time to set up the joke, I guess.
Yeah.
You're going to have to, it's going to have to be not Ryan Reynolds in the suit, and he's not going to have to say anything.
Yeah. He's going to have to be there.
Just going to be somebody in the suit.
Now, again, at the same... Flip that over. Ryan Reynolds is way willing to do anything with Deadpool. So you never know. They dropped this dude a few $1 million. He might pop up in every fucking movie.
Right.
So I have another idea. I'm going to save it, though, because I don't want to wreck my other little fan theory that I got over here. So wait till you come back around.
Save that around.
I'll do that fan theory, and then I'll tell you what I think.
So we'll move on from our Deadpool theory. That's who he's going to, combine all the universes later.
So I got to tell you, this was kind of fun to do and to research. I've never really thought much about some of these theories. A couple of them you've wondered, well, how can that show be so weird?
I'm pointing out that Paul always gazes right at my notes. He's like, how much is this asshole written that I'm about to say?
Yeah. And that having looked some of these up, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I've got a couple. I got 1, 2, 3.
What you got?
4. All right, so we'll start with. I think a lot of people have thought this in Pulp Fiction. The briefcase.
Yes.
The glowing thing inside is Marcellus Wallace's soul.
That's in mine. You got that one too?
Yeah, I do.
All right, and I will say, look, for me, I'll buy on it. Right?
Yeah.
Look, when they threw that fan theory out there, I was like, you know what? I've heard enough argument about it, and then you go back and you rewatch it. So the theory is that the artifact in this briefcase that everyone's after is actually Marcellus Wallace's soul, right? The major argument that I had for it was, where is it? Here we go. All right, what's in the briefcase?
Yep.
It's his soul. And then when you actually make it, the argument is when you make a deal with the devil, he removes your soul from the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
there's a scene
there's
where he's
that
got a Band-Aid.
specific
Yeah.
scene where he's
Yeah.
got a bandage
Yeah.
right on the back of his neck. And then the combo to the briefcase is 666.
Yeah. And in the scene where they rob the diner near the end, she looks at it
They're in awe
and
of it.
she's in awe and she says it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And she's like so taken by it.
Everybody that looks at it is in awe of it through the whole
Yeah.
movie. It's
Yeah.
like you think when you saw the very first time, the first scene, you think it was gold bars or something,
Yeah.
right? It was glowing,
That's
but
the
then
first
people
thing.
act like, "Oh,
When
man.
they're like, it's amazing.
My
She's-
life has changed."
She's moved to tears.
She
almost
is,
to tears.
yeah. Because even he, the boyfriend,
Yeah.
he's like, is that what I think it is?
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, it is. So they had this whole setup where the fact that fans actually bought on that, like, if that was true from the beginning, that's amazing.
Yeah.
One, because they didn't make any like real reference to it.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of picked up, you know. But yeah, I would totally 100% buy on that because of the way it fits so perfectly. This is like one of my favorite fan theories because it fits so
Yeah.
perfectly into the already given canon where you have the fan theories where we'll be like, really? Come on, really?
Right.
You know? But this one like fits like, no, okay, wait, here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It fits every check. So, yeah, no, I would totally buy off on that one. I don't ever think Quentin ever came out and said anything about it, so
No, I don't think he has.
he's probably like, fuck you, wait for my 10th movie.
Yeah. So
You know that one too, right? That he's supposed to only do 10
10
movies?
Yeah.
Because like the last one he popped out with, the
Hateful
trailer
Eight.
said... No, the last one was the...
Made in Hollywood?
It's coming out, yeah.
Once Upon a Time
Once
in
Upon a Time in Hollywood. And it says Quentin
And,
Tarantino's
his
ninth
film,
movie.
yeah.
So yeah, get the fuck ready or whatever.
But he's also, I heard somewhere, he's in talks to do a Star Trek movie.
I've heard that too. But well, you know.
That would be number
whatever.
10.
That would be number 10 if he does it, but I don't know. I mean, if he only does 10 and walks away, I guess more power to him. But look, you kind of maybe you might be robbing the universe or something.
It'd be great
I
if
don't know.
Quentin Tarantino makes Star Trek and get Samuel L. Jackson back to play some crew member of the Enterprise. I'm like, yeah, that's my phaser. It's the one that says bad motherfucker on it.
Yeah. There you go.
So my second Tarantino one is the Quentin Tarantino movies exist in
One universe,
two
Or two, yeah.
universes sort of contained within each other. One where things are quote unquote real, the Pulp
And then the
Fiction,
others
Reservoir
are-
Dogs,
Yes, and then the others are like movies in
the Kill Bill and From Dusk Till Dawn are things that Jules and the others could have seen if they go to the movies in that universe.
Yes,
like
because
they would have seen Kill
Reservoir
Bill.
Dogs and Pulp Fiction. The Vega brothers are actually their brothers.
Yeah.
That they were gonna do. He was gonna do a movie just about them, but I guess it never took off or whatever it was. But yeah, that was like a big thing that was gonna do Vince and what the hell was his brother's name in Reservoir Dogs.
I don't know.
Yeah, that one.
But,
Michael Madsen.
But so there's kind of a real Tarantino universe, the Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction.
Yes.
And then there's the Kill Bill and From Dusk Till Dawn exist as movies in
Movies
that
or
universe.
some type of fiction. Yeah. I've heard that one. That's good. I don't have that one down at all. How about you? How many you got? You want me to throw one out there?
Oh, go ahead.
All right. So, how about Willy Wonka is a serial killer?
A serial killer?
Yeah. No.
I got something close to that.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
had something
so
like
you ready?
that too.
So the kids die in various ways, and he's never surprised about it at all. Now, I'm not going to go with the Johnny Depp. Fuck that one. Just go back to Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
That one, right?
Yeah.
So he's never surprised that these kids die. In fact, he's just like, oh, look.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
No, wait, stop.
Yeah, exactly. No, wait, stop. Oh, damn. And then the vehicles that they go into have
Yeah.
a dwindling number of seats.
Yeah, that's what
Like every time they move on,
that's the fan
there's
theory I
one less
read.
kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
I read a fan theory that said basically he knew they were going to die because
And then the
after the
Oompa
kid
Loompas-
gets sucked up in the chocolate tube and they get in the boat, there's no two seats left over, even though
Right,
the mom and
yeah.
the kid are gone.
Right.
And the same
exactly.
thing with the car at the very end. When there's only 4 seats in the car.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and then it gets down to Charlie, and it's an elevator. Like only he and Charlie fit in it,
Yeah.
or he, Charlie, and Grandpa Joe. Okay, fine, whatever. But then the Oompa Loompas always have a song ready. Mm-hmm. Just boom, done, ready. Okay, I mean, granted, look, we are very amateur hour, but still, if one of you murdered somebody in my garage, I couldn't pop up with a song that quick. And then the last side one on that one is, are the kids the actual secret ingredient to his chocolate?
Oh.
Yeah, I read that.
The slightly different take I saw on that one was he's actually getting revenge on society, the society that forced him, because the tours and the things caused him, I think they explained in the movie that he becomes a recluse because his chocolate becomes so popular, and there were tours and no one has seen him for a while, and he became a recluse because of the society, and so he takes revenge on them making him this recluse by killing their children, luring in and killing their children.
Okay, so that explains my theory.
Yes.
Okay,
it's sort of a different, like, comes at it slightly differently, but yes,
it explains why
he's
okay.
But he is a sadistic killer, killing the children of the people that
I like
caused
it.
him to become a recluse.
I don't. You know what? Fuck it. I like it. Hang on. Is it What If Geeks approved?
Yeah.
I say yeah.
It's approved.
All right. Cool. We got to come up with a name for that. It's Wig approved.
Right.
All right. I just went. Who's next?
Oh, was it my turn?
I got a few.
So, okay. So I'm going to go back to Marvel Universe because this is a really small theory.
Yeah, because I went like way
but
out.
it brings me into the other topic I want to talk about. If you watch, I don't even remember which movie that is. Does Nick Fury die in
Winter Soldier?
Yeah, Winter Soldier, and the show's gravestone, and it says on the gravestone, Colonel Nicholas J. Fury, and then underneath it has a little quote.
The path of the righteous
man.
man.
And then it says Ezekiel, whatever the hell the numbers are. I forgot what they are. Right, 25:17. That's what.
Yeah.
So Ezekiel 25. So if you know, that's a fake passage number. I mean, that passage number exists, but it doesn't say anything about the righteous man.
Right, yeah.
There's of course a reference to Jules from Pulp Fiction, right?
Yeah.
So there's this theory about how Jules ultimately becomes Nick Fury or whatever. And I'm not going to remember all the details on it, but they even talked about the Captain Marvel movie kind of ruined that because of the timeline. Captain Marvel happens in the 80s. It's like right after Pulp Fiction. How did Nick Fury get in there? You know, like he had to make a really quick change in career and become a government employee or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, the whole thing's funny, but so that's a sort of a mini theory. I mean, it's just like there's some connection between them. But
I've read that one. I didn't really like it too much.
Well, the only reason I bring it up, two reasons actually. One, there was a completely unrelated. I'm going to go off on a tangent here. Sorry about that. But there was a Spider-Man Far From Home poster that was released.
I saw this tweet.
His eye was covered. The wrong eye was covered.
Was on the wrong eye.
Yeah.
And
there
then
you go.
I tried to post it on the page.
You may have heard this first here.
I tried to post his tweet on the page earlier. I think I might have jacked it up. I don't know. But
well, I'm glad you did because I couldn't even find the
Samuel
damn
L.
poster.
Jackson posted on Twitter what the fuck is some shit like that?
Yeah, I saw that and I looked for the poster.
And it's an Instagram picture of
the
the poster, so it's on the wrong eye, right?
I never saw the picture though. Because I tried to put it all on our shit. Yeah. But I couldn't find the picture.
Oh, well, if I posted it right, there's a link, an Instagram link in his tweet.
At least to him.
In his tweet that goes to the actual picture of the fucked up poster. So
they probably killed that thing.
So here's my thought. Nick Fury, his contract is basically almost up, right? They got to do something with him. Perhaps Samuel L. Jackson could be the cameos in the future movies because Disney owns the right to a shit ton of the roles that he's played in the past. Have nothing to do with MCU, but those could become cameo characters. Like Jules could show up for 10 seconds and everybody would know who he is, right? Mace Windu. I mean, you could play you could play a whole funny game with this. He could be across the board
for Disney. Yeah,
the Mr. Glass. There's so many things he's done that Disney has at least some sort of rights to product. Like they could put him in there. He could be a cameo of himself playing other characters.
That'd be amazing.
That would be awesome.
I think that would be better than anything else I could think up. And that's the only reason I brought this theory up is because it reminded me of him and all the movies he's done and how much you could really cameo this guy in so many things.
I will not want to shit on my own parade here, but because we're talking Marvel, I think, and I'm going to throw this out there right now, this is only a theory for me, but just going back over some shit that happened in the comics and whatever, and I think we already talked about it once, but I think moving forward, some of the cameos that you're going to see is actually starting with Far From Home. When you see in the trailer, there's one shot of Peter putting on the glasses. I think I said this already, right? Tony Stark is actually AI in the glasses.
Oh.
Like he downloaded himself into the glasses. or he downloaded himself into an AI,
Right.
and Peter has it in the glasses.
Oh, interesting.
Because the one shot you see of him in the trailer, like he takes them off, and he says, you only see him mouth it, but he's like, wow, or oh my god, or holy shit, or whatever he says, right? But it's this like he sees something that he's not supposed to see, or whatever. And something similar happened in a comic not too long ago, where Tony's mind was in AI. So I'm hoping, kind of, just to keep, RDJ in it, that's going to happen. And if I'm right, then there's 2. Toy Story 4 and Spider-Man. I just nailed 2. So I'm 2 for 7. So that's my theory, is that Iron Man, Tony Stark, is going to be still part of the universe by being part of the AI and Spider-Man shit. So I think he might go forward at least on the Spider-Man side, doing the the cameo kind of thing.
So I have a question though. They didn't need to kill off Iron Man. I mean, it was a good play. We talked about this earlier, right?
It was a good
way to
ending of the.
But I'm pretty sure they made that choice because Robert Downey Jr. is gone.
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's so good.
But they did that because Robert Downey Jr. is gone, right? Because he has no obligation.
Yeah, but then also if you go, depending on what asshole article you read, and then you have to go 5 miles into the internet to try to find out if it's based in fact. He said, Chris Evans has said, everybody said, oh, we'll keep coming back. Who the fuck knows? I mean, I don't know. I think he'll be
maybe you're right.
something somewhere. Yeah. And then again, all right, okay, yeah, we can't keep paying you almost $1 billion fucking dollars to appear,
we
but
can play
if you just do a voiceover,
it is. I think it is a contract thing. Like his contract is up, and he can't get paid multi-millions.
If you do a voiceover, we can pay you less. Less for a voiceover, not as much for.
Or you can shoot this in 2 days instead of it taking 4 months.
Yeah. So I think there you go. So that's only there. I throw that out. My theory is he comes back as some type of AI, and that's going to come in about a week. Okay. So we'll find out.
So we're making our own fan theories, huh?
That's right.
Fuck yeah, at least I am.
I actually like that one. It's actually
how I started this whole fucking podcast. Shit.
It makes a lot of sense that it would happen that way.
All right, cool. So next, you ready? Mm-hmm. This is one of my favorite ones, and there's actually 2 of them. Back to the Future.
Okay.
Who's got it? No. Really?
No.
Holy shit. Okay. 1, Doc Brown is suicidal.
Okay.
Right? So he's failed miserably this whole time, and he's ready to kill himself, and right up to the point where he develops this time traveling device in a DeLorean. That scene where it's coming right toward him, he's going to kill himself, and apparently Marty was really dark, even kind of for me, not really, but almost. But almost. I mean, I love it. I think it's kind of funny. But then when it actually goes 88 miles an hour and goes through time, and he does that dance, and I told you I was right. That's actually, he's shocked that it actually worked, right? Because
so it was going to work, or he was going to die.
Yes, he was going to kill himself, and basically like his Robin. Yep. He was going to kill them both. He's like, fuck it, we're both going down.
I'm taking you too.
Yeah, and then the other Back to the Future theory that I actually love is repeatedly throughout the trilogy, and I know you and I have spoken about this, maybe not on microphone, but repeatedly throughout the trilogy, Marty dies. Mm-hmm. And it's like, so the scenes that you see, like when he falls off the building and the DeLorean catches him, or when he's like getting chased and Doc Brown catches him, whatever. It's always Doc Brown going back in time for like the umpteenth time to come save his ass,
Right.
Because he fucked it up the first game.
Because he keeps screwing it up.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
like
that. This fucking kid has died so
love
many
that.
goddamn times. And apparently, because I don't watch the cartoon, but the Rick and Morty cartoon is seriously based, like they always make nods to Back to the Future. Rick and Morty. I mean, it's like, you look at them and you know it's them. But apparently, like, they constantly make, like, little nods to the fact that Marty's always dying in the movies or whatever.
Yep.
So I love that one. I think that's great.
Yeah, that's really good.
I think if he dies all the time, it's amazing. All right, what do you got?
All right. This one's a little bit of a stretch, but I liked it. Anna and Elsa from Frozen are Tarzan's sisters.
Yeah, I read about this.
Oh, no, I love that one because it's like a multiple...
Yeah, there's a couple things happening that the
It's kind of like a Pixar thing going on in the Disney...
Yeah, a little bit. So the King and the Queen, it sets up the beginning of Frozen, that the King and the Queen shipwreck, right? And it's why Elsa and Anna are essentially alone. So in this theory, they were, on the way to Rapunzel and what's his name's wedding.
Yeah.
But B, when they shipwreck, they actually shipwreck in the jungle. And they...
No. Okay, good.
Yeah, so they shipwreck in the jungle.
I've got an extra part. Sorry.
And they set up a hut, and because she's pregnant, the queen is pregnant on the way.
Yeah.
And the baby is Tarzan.
Yes, and then they get killed by wild cats or cheetahs or whatever.
In the jungle.
Now, I've also heard that like they shipwreck on the way to the wedding.
Yeah.
But they shipwreck before that island, and they somehow like they makeshift something and get to the island. And the actual shipwreck
is in the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. What Ariel is going through.
Yeah,
that's that one. All right, what do you got?
So I've got one for Signs.
Okay.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Yep.
All right, and so that movie is about an alien invasion of Earth, right?
Yep.
Or conceptually, that's what it's about, right? So this fan theory is, well, what if it actually wasn't that? What if this was like biblical sort of rapture or something like that, right? And so I'm going to read you this. It's like a long list of bullet points I got going back through the movie, but so basically the concept of this is that those aren't actually aliens; those are like demons, right?
Okay.
So they've changed the whole thing now. So I don't remember if it was on the last episode or what, but I had mentioned plot twists and how a plot twist can wreck a movie.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, the water in this. I think I was making a joke on the last episode about the badly explaining movies, and then the aliens invade the Earth that's made up of 70% water when they're allergic to water or whatever. But anyway, so this kind of, for me anyway, it kind of like fixed that problem. Say, maybe it's not just water specifically; it's a little more to it than that, right? So I guess it works something like this. So they set up all this biblical stuff in the movie on purpose, right? And the Signs name is obviously a little bit of a play on, because there's all these foregone things that are gonna happen, but they don't realize it, But so it starts off that, of course, he's a priest, right? And he's lost his faith or whatever, and there's a whole story around that, and that's something biblical almost in itself or something. He's angry at God or whatever, right? And his wife is dying, and she has like these visions right at the point of death, where she's like, see this or whatever, swing away with the brother-in-law Meryl or whatever, and all these things that come to fruition later. But so the actual creatures themselves, I wouldn't have realized this until I read it, but you never see a spaceship, not once in the whole movie. You never see any alien technology. They don't bring any weapons. It's natural. It's whatever they've got on them or whatever. And you do see lights in the sky, but there's no actual ship ever shown to you. You never seen them coming down in a beam. None of that, right? So the concept is that they're actually like demons or whatever, and they've just got their natural weapons to fight man or whatever, and the whole thing is like God playing into this, and He's given all the signs to them, and there was there's so many lives. Like they make a reference about people fleeing to temples and churches when the invasion first starts or whatever, right? And then of course the daughter leaves the water everywhere, which becomes a big play on it later, right? But he tells a story about when his daughter was born, and it's something about when the angels came out, or sorry, when the daughter came out, the nurses were like, "Oh my gosh, she's an angel." It's just like some pointless reference. Like, why did they say that?
Yeah,
and it would make sense, not in a religious sense at all. You'd say, "Oh yeah, of course, anybody would say their new child's an angel or whatever," but then you find out later that the water hurts them, and it's specifically they don't just make it any water, right? Which is one of my chief complaints. Like, there's water in the air. Why doesn't that hurt them, right? Well, okay, maybe her water is special because she's got all that, you know what I mean? Yeah. She's got this fate that she was supposed to do or whatever. And then there was the thing with the kid's asthma, and he didn't get the poison, right? There's all these signs. The swing away, of course, and the bat on the wall. This is about science movies,
yeah.
Sir.
Well, no, because that's actually what started this whole subject was.
Well, yeah,
we were sort of the plot twist.
Yeah. So I was talking about bad plot twists, but this fan theory goes, it's not an alien invasion movie at all. It's demons coming to Earth, and they just never say it that way. Okay. And the reason that they're susceptible to water is because it's not actually just water. It's like holy water, effectively, because the daughter is like, I don't know, he's
well, the dad's
God's plan or whatever, right?
Yeah, the dad's a reverend. She's
not just a reverend. He's a reverend who's sort of like giving up on God. I'm never gonna
and
pray
God
again
is there to help.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like, well, who better to pick for your biblical?
Sorry, I just walked back in from a piss.
And then the kid Morgan, the boy, even makes a reference to Last Supper, where they're sitting at the table, like right after the invasion happens or whatever.
Nice. All right. Yeah.
So anyway, the whole thing, I was like, oh well, if you think about it that way, that actually makes a lot more sense, and I understand how the whole thing plays out, and that maybe it's not just specifically water, and it being biblical is cool, and then the science thing takes on a whole nother meaning, which was always kind of there, but it makes it more like is life random and meaningless, or are you sort of like on a fateful path?
If that actually becomes
it's deja vu.
M. Night Shyamalan's actual twist in that movie. That makes it even better. It's better than like the original.
The twist on the twist,
The one fan theory I read about signs was it doesn't go into explaining the religious stuff. It just explains the aliens. And to your point about if they're aliens and capable of interstellar travel, how would they not know that this is a planet made 70% of water? And why wouldn't they protect themselves?
Yeah.
What if this is not an invasion? What if for the aliens this is like a horrible penal colony? And that's why they don't have suits to protect themselves. That's why they don't have weapons. That's why they don't care.
So basically, Joaquin Phoenix beat the hell out of inmate 57321.
Yes. What if they're dropped here as their punishment? Like, good luck surviving in a place that's 70% water, criminal scumbag. And that's why they don't.
You know what? As much as I love that, I love the God theory. I kind of like this. My sadistic side loves that.
It's why they don't protect themselves. It's why you don't see the ships, is they're just sort of thrown here.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my God! Wow,
I like that.
It's like Australia was to the sort of really old British. Like
nice.
Yeah. Good luck.
Nice. All right. Cool. There you go. You know what? That one's wig approved. Oh my God! All right.
That was one.
Ready? Grease.
Okay.
Nothing?
I think I read this one.
I read this one.
I read it. Yeah.
So Sandy's actually dying after drowning.
Yeah.
And the whole thing, the whole movie's
end of life,
pre-death life, whatever, is like a vision.
Yeah.
And I guess the end of the movie is what kind of gives it away, where like they fly off into the sky, into the heavens. So it's like them ascending into heaven or whatever. And you know what? When I first read it, I can never let it go. I was like, you know what? That's perfect, because there's outside of that, there's no reason for that scene whatsoever in that movie.
To fly off.
I'm like, this is like, it's literally ludicrous. Yeah. Like when you watch this whole movie, which again is a classic musical movie, you got all these friggin' songs in there that everybody sings, and then there's that one scene that always bothered me until I read the fan theory, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
So for me, it's proved. I'm good.
So
she died, and that's her vision. Is her whole relationship with him, and then they fly off into the heavens. I'm good.
So, mini theories, not really long ones, but I've read several of those. Oh, actually, they're dead ones that I thought were pretty interesting, like the Up movie.
Yes.
So he's dead in that.
I didn't write that one down because
the,
I was hoping one of you would.
The boy that shows up to get his badge is really like a guardian angel, and he's trying to get his wings by helping this guy make his way to heaven or whatever.
Yeah, and you can see the symbology.
Yeah.
What's it?
Symbolism.
Thank you, symbolism. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah.
Symbolism in that movie where they're flying off to another world where, again, something that he and his wife always wanted to go to, so they finally get there, and it's this kid that gets them there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they never had a kid, so that's why the guardian angel shows up as a kid or whatever.
Yeah. And he's always trying to get that one badge, and that's his wings.
Yeah, that's his wings. Yeah.
By the way, that is the most brutally sad 10 minutes of movie.
Oh my God, yeah,
the first 10 minutes of Up is brutal sad.
And well, I guess to my benefit, I repeatedly read that or see that always quoted. That's so horrible, and I remember it, and I've yet to go back and watch.
What's that?
That first 10 minutes of Up.
Oh yeah,
I'm like, I will not.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Because society has drilled in my head that this is the worst 10 minutes of cinema you're going to see. And I'm like, I'm good.
It's not the room bad. It's just sad.
Like heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, sad.
Yeah, it is
that
sad.
and Gage getting hit by the pickup, the semi truck in Pet Sematary in the first one. Nope, I'm good. I ain't gonna watch it. Yeah. And Marley and Me.
Marley and Me.
No. Fuck you.
My kids were crying on that.
We went way tangent on that one. Sorry, my fault.
So another mini death theory was about Peter Pan.
Yes.
So Peter Pan is actually the angel of death, and Neverland is like the heaven for children, and he escorts them there or whatever.
Oh man, I hadn't heard that. Oh, that's so brutal.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Oh man,
there was a couple I heard about that one, and that's the one I remember. I can't remember the other one, but there was two Peter Pan theories, and I can't remember what the other one was, but that's the other one I remember.
Yeah.
So those kids basically die, and then I think the other one was. It had something that it was a different twist. He wasn't necessarily angel death, but he was like trying to keep the kids there with him in this fantasy world.
It was close.
He didn't want to be there alone.
And
or
Captain
something.
Hook was actually the good guy trying to free the. Yeah, so he knows. Eric knows. He's got kind of watched the same shit I have, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like he's trying to keep the kids there, and Captain Hook was actually trying to free them. So
that's crazy.
The other one is way darker though.
Yeah, it is really dark. So when he shows up in the window and says, "Come fly with me," it's because those kids are
died.
Those kids are dead.
Yeah, they died, and
they're not ready to go. So he's gonna carry them off.
Wow. I've got sticking on the death theme.
Because why not?
I've got two themes around Gilligan's Island though, but one of them is that
I remember this
on the 3-hour tour they actually die. And Gilligan's Island is hell. And the castaways are the
representations of the seven sins. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Mr. Howell is greed, right? Because
I'm so good at this, but I forget everything.
Who would bring all of the trunks and stuff of clothes that it takes?
Greed,
right. That it has all right. Yeah. Mrs. Howell is
Ginger's
sloth.
lust.
Mrs. Howell is sloth because she barely does anything through the whole thing. Skipper is anger and gluttony because he's always eating snacks and he is constantly hitting Gilligan being angry. Ginger is lust. Marianne is envy because she's envious of Ginger. And the professor is pride. And Gilligan's the devil.
It's okay, Marianne. You were both hot in your own way.
And Gilligan is the devil. The second theory on Gilligan's Island is that the professor is running a secret government-run social experiment which is why, and the professor and Gilligan are in on it, which is why, although the professor can make a radio out of coconuts and do all this other stuff, he can't seem to fix a boat. Right. He can't fix a hole in a boat and make something seaworthy, but he can make a radio out of 2 coconuts. And that's why they can't ever get off the island, is because it's actually an experiment. And Gilligan's blunders are there just to keep people on the island.
Which actually leads me into another show idea, so write this down before I actually go off on a tangent. Don't forget Eric.
Yes.
Are you going to tell them?
So, all right. Shows that we used to watch, right, like Gilligan's Island, that tried to do another spin-off that failed miserably.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Gilligan's Island made a cartoon?
Yep.
And it was Gilligan's Planet. And it was horrendous. Like, how the
I never
fuck
even
you
heard
went from,
about
like,
that.
not getting off an island to... Yeah,
Sorry.
That's that couple-year age gap.
Well, when did they do that?
I don't remember. We'll look it up, and we'll get into it in the next episode.
All right.
We're going to tangent way over. We're
So,
already
like,
like an hour.
After you had a nap?
MASH made a show called After MASH. MASH, which was great. It lasted
Yeah.
11 seasons, made a show called After MASH, which
Yeah,
made, like,
yeah.
one
So
season.
it's something like some of the shit that we really, really loved, and then like the sequels that didn't work. You know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. All right. Good. You got that one before I forgot it.
Yep.
Thanks, asshole. All right. Let's see. Who's next? Me.
Yeah, go for it.
Toy Story 2. Jesse's owner is actually Andy's mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So now this is all over the internet, and it makes sense because when you watch the first Toy Story, and it makes sense because in the first Toy Story, when you see Andy is this big cowboy fan, the hat that he wears really doesn't look like Woody's, right? Then you go to Toy Story 2, and Woody turns out to be this quote-unquote star of an older show.
Yep.
His sitcom buddy, whatever, Jesse, right? Mm-hmm. Not his love interest, because that's Buzz. Or sorry, she is Buzz's love interest. Never mind.
That one.
Yeah,
That,
whoop!
one
That was a
yeah.
completely different movie.
Yeah.
Something else I watched.
Bro-
Rule 34.
Right. Some kind of Brokeback Mountain Toy Story.
Brokeback Toy Story.
Yeah.
Write that one down.
Is that an episode for next week?
There you go. Jesse is his confidant, whatever, his buddy on the show. The hat that she wears in the show in Toy Story 2 is actually the hat that Andy has throughout Toy Story 1 and 2. So it's like, you know, like that, like when you buy your toys that represent your cartoons that you watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm losing English. Your props or whatever, right? You buy your costumes or
your
costumes,
gear,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
you buy your memorabilia, whatever. His was this Jesse hat, but you don't realize it until Toy Story 2, right? So the theory was that in Toy Story 2, you learn that Jesse's owner, Emily, just like drops her off when she's older, loved her, she adored her, whatever, and then just like leaves her on the side of the road when she's older. And then the theory is that that's actually Andy's mom, and Andy's mom still had the hat and passed it on to her son. And they back it up somewhere in Toy Story 2 when the fat dude, Al, or whatever,
From Al's Toy Barn.
yeah, Al's Toy Barn, when he goes to buy it, she says it's a family heirloom, right? Talking about Woody.
Yeah.
So there's that whole thing there where it kind of it makes sense, right? That okay, maybe she actually owned Jesse. Now, someone, anybody, please, who actually like watched the movies and like tried to break down the timeline, kind of helped me out with it, because the only problem I had with the theory was if I was watching like the timeline, just going by like our current timeline, I would think that Jesse's owner was actually Andy's grandmother. Because it looked like the show was in black and white, and it, you know what I mean? But I think I've seen enough of the theory to say, like, where they were like, no, it was from a show that was in the mom's childhood. But I think just watching the quick little cutscenes of the TV show, whatever, the show looks like it's in black and white. Looks like it might be from like the...
It was 50s-ish,
Right.
50s-ish, which would have... So, like, I'm older than both you guys, but my mom was born in 1948.
Yeah.
So a TV show in the late 50s, she would have seen as a kid.
Right. Well,
So-
now I'm thinking, though, Andy is... What? Just a few years ago, he was in college, which was my kids.
Right.
You know, so I would think that his grandmother may have owned Jesse.
Oh,
that was
maybe,
me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But would also, for me, it solves the problem of if she owned Jesse and gave the hat to her son, like, because this was what I grew up with, and you're going to have it, and there is never any kind of recollection at all when Jesse shows up at the house. But if it's like her mother or the dad's mother or whatever, someone, his grandparents, grandmother that owned this doll,
Right.
and it's a family heirloom now. All these dolls, whatever it was, got passed down. What was left would be Woody, the hat, and then the mother doesn't really. Maybe she didn't watch the show.
Yeah.
Because the grandmother did.
Yeah.
Maybe like that. So
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah.
And again, if anybody really, really dove into it more than I did, can explain
Yeah.
where I'm wrong, cool. But for me, I'm like, I think it might be the grandmother that owned her, and then kind of because it looked like it was like an older show,
Yeah.
and older toys, and then it kind of like got passed down to the grandson, and the mom was just kind of like, yeah, it's a family heirloom, and we're not gonna get rid of it, which makes sense, 'cause I wouldn't get rid of something that like my parents own that my kids might want. So
Yeah.
that's what I think. I don't know. So we'll see. Let me know what you think.
I got another. I got a Pixar one.
Okay, good, because I got one that's gonna probably piss Eric off.
This is a little dark, but in Cars, Sally, when she mentions that she drove off from home and she was going to drove till she broke down.
Right.
She owns the Cone Motel. What's it called?
I forget.
The motel in Cars that everyone looks like a road cone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she was really trying to kill herself.
Fuck.
It talks about she had a really good life in the city. She's a Porsche. She had a really good life in the city. She had a good job.
Oh my God, she is a Porsche. Okay, yeah, never mind.
She drives away from it all.
Left a good job in the city. I'm so sorry. I'll never do that again.
And that she was just headed out. She sort of has a nervous breakdown, but she says she was just going to drive until she broke down. And what does that mean if you're a car and you break down?
Suicide.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was going to run out of gas. She was going to break. Something was going to happen, and she didn't call anybody. She didn't let anybody. She was just going to kill herself, and Mater saves her, and that's why. And then Doc sort of brings her back to health, which is why she's sort of enamored by Doc. But yeah, she was on the way to killing herself.
I never read that one. Holy shit, the show got dark.
Yeah,
there's a few of them in here. Sandy's dead. The Cars people are dead. Holy shit. All right, you got any more, Eric?
No, so I've got some dumb ones that maybe you guys can help me understand how somebody came up with this and thought it was a good idea.
I got a really good one that's going to lead into like another episode that you want to do later. So go ahead.
All right. So the first one was that E.T. is actually a Jedi.
Oh,
like
yeah,
in the vein of Yoda or something.
I read that
right?
one.
Yeah, well, okay,
Except-
and because he's in Phantom Menace,
Yeah.
or not him, but his race is in Phantom Menace, and then they tie it back to E.T., where he sees...
fly.
He can fly. He can move things with his
he
mind.
sees the kid dressed as
He's
Yoda,
essentially
and
a
he says,
Force user, right?
"Home."
Yeah.
But then I just say, okay, so the government was after E.T. They're on his ass at every turn. Where's your freaking Jedi powers? You could have ended this whole movie 5 minutes in, E.T.
This is true. By the way, I just want a side note that was my best impression on the entirety of this fucking show, was my E.T. impression. So there you go. Because holy shit, they've been horrible up until now.
All right, so the next dumb theory makes me even more angry. That Jar Jar Binks is actually
A Sith.
Yeah, he's the supreme.
I've
He's
heard that,
Snoke.
yeah.
I saw that headline and I
didn't
refused
see
to read it.
Snoke, but I saw he was a
How
Sith.
did people get to this?
He's a Sith
So
Lord, yeah.
Well, the
whole basis of
like
this
he was
theory is
the
that,
drunken
like,
master.
yeah, well, and he's having conversations with people, and he waves his hand every once in a while and stuff, and that's supposed to be him, like,
Jedi
manipulating
mind tricking
people's
people,
minds
yeah.
or whatever. Like,
And
come
the whole
on.
like when like the fighting that he does, where like stuff gets stuck on him, like whatever. It's like that Jackie Chan drunken master kind of thing.
yeah.
I'm like, all right, you are going way out there. Again, some of the stuff like, all right, the waving of the hands kind of in Star Wars lore, you at least you have a basis there, okay? But once you start incorporating Jackie Chan and the Drunken Master, all right, time out. Just fucking time out. He was a really bad idea for somebody to try to make some money on some kids, and it didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
My
It doesn't have to be any deeper than that.
My favorite Jar Jar bit is Robot Chicken, and Eric still hasn't watched it.
No.
So go back and find the Jar Jar Binks Robot Chicken shit. It's amazing.
So the last one is also Star Wars related that I hated, but it was that Qui-Gon was like a really shitty Jedi. Like really shitty because he doesn't sense anything that he otherwise should. He can't mind manipulate Watto. He keeps getting put on these missions like out at the edges of the universe to do like bodyguard duty and shit.
Yeah.
So he's like the what's Sean Penn in Fast Times? Spikowski?
Spicoli.
Yeah, there you go. He's like the Spicoli of the Jedi.
Yeah, basically.
He's the one I read about.
He's
him
Bluto.
was
Holy shit.
He's among like the priesthood. He's the most agnostic kind of the priests. If Jedis are priests, he's one who's sort of agnostic, where he's like, okay, I see how this could be kind of faith, but I also see that there's science to this. That's why he's the only one who cares about midichlorians,
right?
And like wants to test for
well,
midichlorians and things like that, instead of going on like, I feel the presence of the Force in you. He's like, we need to test.
Okay, I see now from just a realistic standpoint, I would buy off on that take on him, much like the
which is why
the
he's
Mace
the
Windu
shittiest
thing.
Which is why he's the shittiest one and gets
Probably,
all the bad assignments.
Yeah, because there's a way more. There's a whole wing of religion that he's not touching at all.
Right.
Yeah. I admit that. But the realistic standpoint, I like that. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like the Mace Windu one, where they're like, okay, his lightsaber was purple because he was more in tune with the dark side. So it was a blend of blue and red. And like the green was... That was when they were trying to do like every color represented something else, whatever. Yeah. But the blue was the altruistic Jedi and the red was the Sith. So the purple was... Which made sense and was cool. And in reality, it was just because Samuel L. Jackson wanted to be able to pick himself out of a crowd. And that's what it was. So, sorry. Yeah. This entire show led up to me debunking one fan theory. Sorry. But, yeah, it was only because, like, Samuel L. Jackson was like, that big fight scene, I can't see myself in there, and I really want to be able to pick myself out so I can show my family that's me. I will not jump on you're like the main black Jedi in that entire...
Right.
Sorry. I picked you out without the purple lightsaber, but you can find yourself. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. So, all right, he wanted the purple one, and George was like, fuck it could be purple, whatever. And I like that the fans... That's one of those fan theories where when they were doing all the colors and they meant something, they said, well... He kind of played around with the dark and the light side, and it blended the blue and the red, and it became purple. To me, that was like, holy shit. Like, if you can put that much thought into it, because I sure as fuck don't half the time, I'm just like, all right, cool, it's purple, whatever. When you do that, I'm like, damn, you know what? I sign off on it.
Yeah.
Bam, done. I'm good with it, you know? And then you see the article where he's like, I really just couldn't pick myself out of that crowd. So that's why it was.
That's funny.
All right. So the last one I got, and then we can end this episode because it's going way too fucking long. And somebody's got to go to bed. Fuck both of you. All right. Kubrick faked the moon landing.
Oh, I read this one.
Oh, this. Yeah.
And he provides the proof in The Shining.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
This leads into another episode at some point where, like, the kind of conspiracy theory thing where Eric and I jumped on it a little bit, but I think the three of us can really have a good time with it again later. We'll kind of like, we left the moon theory alone, or the moon landing theory alone, but we'll jump into the kind of maybe the sequel to the things you thought you knew, you know, and all three of us just kind of like have a blast with it, maybe in a couple of weeks. But so it's got to come soon now because I mentioned it. So the theory is that Stanley Kubrick, he had a hand in the moon landing, and he faked it. He helped NASA fake it, the whole filming. And then he revealed it later in the filming of The Shining. And some of the things that come up is like Danny wears a shirt of Apollo 11. Mm-hmm. And then later on, Kubrick changed the room number, the iconic haunted room number, from 217 in the book to 237. Yeah. Which is actually the number of miles from Earth to the moon. And then there's like a few other things in there that kind of like pop up that people are like, oh yeah, that
there
totally
was
tells it.
There was a whole thing about that one scene where he's playing with the toys in that room, and it has carpet that's different than the rest, and it looks like a launch pad, and he's in the center of one of the diamonds, and then he stands up like he's a rocket launching. It was like this whole like, holy shit, how did you find all that symbolism? It's ridiculous.
And that's again where I go back to like this entire fucking episode over the last hour and a half, where I'm like, how do you have this much time? Yeah. Again, but then I say, how do the three of us have this much time to actually research this dumb shit and make a fucking episode?
It's one of the things I love and hate about the internet.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So like the apparently The Shining is like Stanley Kubrick's admission to faking the moon landing. That was the fan theory. I don't know. I don't buy that one. But we'll get into that in another episode.
Yep.
Yes.
To be continued. All right. Anybody got anything else?
I got one last one. This is about Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Did you read this one?
Yes. But you know what? It's perfect.
That That Cameron is sick, with fever, laying there, and that Ferris is actually in his imagination. That it is the whole thing kind of a fever dream, and Ferris is like the Brad Pitt character in Fight Club. Like Ferris is who he wants to be.
Yeah, he is the
persona of what I wish I were, or whatever.
And he's got the girl that he's probably has a crush on. He lives the life that he would want to live. He gets away with all these things, and it explains how they can do all these things across Chicago in a day, including taking in a Cubs game, being in a parade, doing all this other crazy stuff.
Because most of it's in his imagination.
Correct.
Or it's most,
and that the whole thing, Ferris is getting chased by the principal, and he has to go like through a bunch of yards and over a bunch of stuff, and then still manages to land
gets away with it
perfectly in the house at just the right time to get away with the whole thing.
And then it ends with
the
what's his name, the one that supposedly imagined the whole thing,
Cameron.
Cameron, yeah.
So it ends with him telling Bueller, I'll take the heat.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Right. He's got to face up to a kind of an overbearing father.
Yeah. So the overall theory is that Bueller is his way of dealing with his whole life until the point where he's able to stand up for himself. Yeah. And you know what? I like it. It ruins the entire Bueller.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of holes in that theory, but I like it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect way to end. Fuck it. You know what? There you go. That is a perfect way to end. The only other way to end this is this entire show is actually in my mind, and you two are not here, and I'm sitting in my garage.
No, you're actually dead. Paul and I are escorting you to heaven.
Yeah.
Oof! You're the escort to heaven. Holy shit! All right, there you go. Thank you.
This is your fever dream. You went to bed 2 hours ago. You went to bed 2 hours ago to get up for your new job.
Yeah. Oh my god. Well, there you go. So, everybody, let us know what you think of this fucked up episode, and let me know what you think of me having to get up early, and tell us what you think of other movies that kind of popped in with like fan theories that we haven't covered, because I know there's a few that I didn't write down. And then hit us up, whatifgeeks@gmail.com, and Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all that happy shit. And that's it. Awesome. All right. We will check you guys soon. All right. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Mom.
Good night, Todd.